Bizarre Brain Comics. Okay, here we go. Keep rolling away. Gary here for Bizarre Brain Comics. This is where I like to take a look at some older comics and talk a little about the creators and the characters, and then examine the stories and the art. And what I want to take a little look at today is this one right here. Captain Hero, number 3 from 1967 from Archie Comics. Well, Captain Hero. Yes, it's kind of a redundant kind of name. But you can tell from the name, it's supposed to be kind of humorous. And see what I have in the big book of knowledge to say about this. Captain Hero, number 3, Archie Comics, 1967. Now listen to this. Teeny weeny magic beanie pointed towards the sky. Bring me muscle, vigor, strength. Form a super guy. That is what Jughead recites to transform himself into Captain Hero. That's right, Jughead from Archie Comics. In the Silver Age, with the big success of new superheroes from Marvel Comics, Archie Comics brought back their own Golden Age heroes for a few years, such as the Shield, Steel Sterling, the Black Hood, etc., and other characters who made up the Mighty Crusaders. And they only published them for about 3 years to lackluster fanfare. Of course, now they're hard to get, and people are trying to get hands on them. But anyway. Then, with the success of the Batman TV show in 1966, a new tactic was born. Just as they had done a parody of The Man from U.N.C.L.E. with The Man from Riverdale, this is Archie I'm talking about, the publishers at Archie, they began using the Archie cast in a series of superhero parody stories. And this started with Archie becoming Pureheart the Powerful, and Reggie being Evil Heart. Who is a self-centered and only did any heroic deeds to show up Pureheart and get girls, which he never did. Show him up and get girls. Then Betty Cooper would become Super Teen. I always liked Betty. And some of these costumes were inconsistent, especially Betty's. Like every time she showed up, she was wearing something different. And then eventually, Jughead as Captain Hero. And Captain Hero even had his own title, which you see here, for a time. I don't know how many issues, but in doing my research, I saw up to issue 7. And his powers, not only his powers, the other Archie superheroes powers were inconsistent, and they seemed to have whatever power was needed at the time for the story, whatever the story needed. And these hero stories appeared sporadically for a few years, mostly as reprints, and then in the 90s they had a few new adventures amongst the reprints, and they also used these as well as some other Archie stories as opportunities to use some of their older superheroes also just to pop in or whatever to help maintain their copyright on those characters. So let us have a little look into the goofy world of Archie, comics, and Jughead as Captain Hero. And here we have Captain Hero. That's number 3. And you see that they didn't just draw a single individual new cover. They just used 2 panels from the interior, and I think this other image right here was from a house ad featuring the character. So there you go on that. It says created by Dick, Vic, Bob, and Bill. And some of those were some of the same names I think they used for in some of the Mighty Crusaders stuff. Anyway, and of course there's no credits. And if I looked more deeply, I could probably find who did what on this particular issue. But I'll just say they're the regular 60s Archie creators. Archie comic creators. So I don't know who specifically did what. I see, but when I was looking through it, and I see some tidbits that indicate to me that perhaps they are largely the same people who did Mighty Crusaders. There are little hints in the artwork, because when they do the superhero stuff, while their their Archie characters and stuff still look pretty much as they do for Archie, except they make them in their costumes, they make them more muscular. But the many of the other characters have a more realistic look to them than carrying on the regular Archie art stylization. And yeah, so this is 3. They had Captain Hero. Oh, and they had that little poem that Jughead recites to turn into Captain Hero. It just turns out in the 2 stories in here, he doesn't use that at all. He's already in the form as Captain Hero as the stories begin. But seen in the others that I've got, he does use it. And also I was, because I have some other stuff reprinting stories from this era. These stories from this era, and sometimes I have multiple copies of a specific story, but neither of these stories showed up. And also, while I was looking, I kept seeing references to so many sites that had so many issues, such and such issues available, and others were many times, but I only saw this one listed once, so this one may be a little harder to get hold of, this particular issue. Let's take a little look inside it. Oh, since I mentioned Man from U.N.C.L.E., a pin up for David McCallum as Ilya Kuryakin from the Man from U.N.C.L.E., just on the inside. Yeah, it's Captain Hero and the Duke of Decay, and we start off right here. Turns out that this something has been happening, and all the food in Riverdale is spoiled, and people are starving, and Betty and Veronica are pouncing on Archie because they think he's got a candy bar, and they're trying to mug him. And meanwhile, here is Murray Decay, and he is the Duke of Decay right here, and he's just watching this going on. He's laughing, and here's the Captain Hero popping out of this window to save Archie, because he's always saving Archie. Archie is a innocent bystander who's always getting in trouble, and then Jughead has to turn into Captain Hero to save him. And Betty does the same thing as Super Teen, but it's usually when Veronica's menaced is when Archie becomes Pureheart. So here he gets the girls off Archie, leaves them, and you can just see in the background where this lady is. It's a little bit of child abuse, because the boy was apparently hiding a little bit of food, and his mom got angry and smacks him a good one. Here's the food. Some of the trucks, they're bringing food directly into town. As soon as they get into town, all the food instantly magically spoils. And Captain Hero is trying to figure out why. And you see the decent storytelling, panel to panel storytelling. The writing, of course, it's all tongue in cheek for humor, and you can see that, of course, to make Jughead more muscular, he's got to look like a superhero. And his powers, like I said, his powers are inconsistent. He spots Decay and said looks well fed, so he goes to find out why, and Murray Decay whips out this garbage gun and starts shooting spoiled food at him until he's bound into a pile of slop. You could feed the pigs. And here's a nice panel showing that, but you can really see the character here, and you can kind of see the slightly more realistic stylization taken away from the Archie stylization of the villain here. He's still kind of cartoonish, but it looks a lot like, as I said before, it looks a lot like the art that was used in the Mighty Crusaders and the other characters. So he traces the guy to the castle just outside of town, which has been there for centuries, brought over from Scotland, was it? Wherever. And it's the Decay people, their family. They have this garbage company or trash company, and he says it's got a moat, and it's just full of floating garbage. And Decay kicks him into the moat, and lets him know that he's in deep trouble because the moat is full of piranhas. But the piranhas don't bother him because they're too busy munching on all the decaying food in there. And here's an example of using a power that he needs just because he needs it. He has his suction cup boots, and he walks up the side of the wall. Then he lets loose the vultures. The vultures going to attack him, but vultures don't deal with living things. They only eat dead things. They don't attack living things. They wait until something dies. So he scampers in right into a trap, into a cage. And he's got a gun on him. Shows him this big vat of the stuff that he makes that makes everything spoiled. And then it's just got the spray gun. Everything decays and spoils. And he's got it all over town, so that whenever food comes into town, it spoils. And this layout here is page layout is a little different from what you would normally see in an Archie comic. It's because it's adventure type pacing, and I like that. He gives Jughead some, because remember, Jughead he's always hungry, and he's downright starving. Gives him some real food, and then before he can dig into it, he sprays it so it's all spoiled instantly. So Captain Hero uses that opportunity to distract the villain and get away. So the villain releases not the dogs, but the hyenas. Hyenas chase him, and they've treed Evil Heart. What's Evil Heart doing here? Yeah, because he's kind of checking it out too. But they sniffed out Evil and sniffed out Evil Heart. And there's Pure Heart. He's in here too. My gosh, look at that. And they love anything putrid, and that's why they got him. And Evil Heart is putrid. So then Captain Hero uses his trick beanie hat and shoots him with instant decay stuff. Pew! Something stinks sour, and he smells bad. And then all the hyenas chase him, and he's treed. I'll get that open. And that's the end of that story. Oh, there it is. They did put the end. So they're after him, and Evil Heart gets out. But the real heroes, they get a good chuckle out of Evil Heart's misfortune, and the day is saved. And here's just a couple of some filler pages, regular Archie stuff, ads, and another one here. Again, I wanted to show the artwork is more like actually this looks almost like Kurt Scheffenberger, but it's not. Just that one figure there, but a little more realism on the villain characters. And see, Captain Hero was already in costume at the time. Here we saw this from the cover. Swat. This is the false scent, and it has to do with catching these bank robbers. And of course, Archie just happened to be an innocent bystander. That's why Jug. And here he is transferring back to Jughead. Helps up Archie, innocent bystanders. He goes to tell Veronica about his adventure. Meanwhile, here's the villain. What's the enforcer? He's watching footage of that escapade and see, it's that redheaded kid. I'm going to get him, and that'll use him as bait for Captain Hero. See here we got a good view of the villain, and again, it's a little more realistic, but it really looks like the from the earlier Archie superheroes stuff. So he has this. This is where the title comes in. The artificial scent of pizza, and the teenagers are always hungry, and they're chasing after the pizza. Of course, they're knocked out of the way by Jughead because he smelled it from a mile off. Gets into the place. It's no pizza. Boots him out. Here's what he wanted. Archie. Then Jughead sees what the trouble was. It was a trick to get Archie as bait for Captain Hero Part 2 of this story. False scent. And then racing. He changes. Busts in the door. That was also image used on the cover. Draws a gun on him, but instead of him just being bulletproof, it says bulletproof vest. Why a vest? Why not make him bulletproof? He's whatever he needs to be at the time. Well, that doesn't work, so he tries to beat him, hit him, but his hat is said, "My hat's harder than Reggie Mantle's heart." So he had smacked his hat. That saved him there. Then boots him out the window where he dangles, climbs up, and again he uses his suction cup boots because it was handy for the story. And this is when he catches the guy. He falls through, chases him across the rooftops, and he jumps through the skylight hoping he can get away. But he doesn't know. The skylight was right into the police station, and Captain Hero had wrangled him. Tricked him into going in that way, that direction. So here he is, and his reward here is just to smell that pizza smell coming from the scent gun. While the enforcer goes to jail, and that's the end of that. And that is the type of superhero stories, all tongue-in-cheek and strict just parody. And camp, because camp was the thing in 66, 67, and 68. Because everybody was trying to get in on the act. Well, that's all. That's a little bit of fun. We'll revisit these heroes another time too. So, thank you for joining me. Please like, share, subscribe, leave a comment. And remember, comics are art.